Meet me in the foyer.
Greetings of the season to you, my friends, and thank you for choosing to meet me in the foyer again, where we are blessed by the presence of an early Christmas present in the form of Linda Marrick. Hello, Linda. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you? Very, very busy week for me. Just trying to watch everything before Christmas. But yeah,
Yeah,
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yes, I mean crazy busy like you. Not watching films, unfortunately, but
Mm.
all that life admin and general work admin,
Yeah.
and all the boring stuff.
Mhm.
And as I said, I haven't managed to watch all the films I wanted to for 2025, but regardless, it's been a good year. So yeah, looking forward to going over our top nines or tens maybe next episode. But
Yeah, definitely next episode. Yeah, I think.
lovely.
Yeah, definitely. I think we next week we'll have a bit more time to breathe.
Mm,
So yeah, so
looking forward
take
to
my
it.
time talking. All right, let's do this.
Well, what are we doing this week? So, what are you bringing us and placing under the Christmas tree this week, Linda?
This week, I am bringing you one absolutely awful movie and one absolutely delightful movie.
Oh,
It's up to you to judge afterwards which you think is which. So I'm bringing James L. Brooks' latest film, Ella McCay, and a movie from a debut director called Lurker.
hmm,
And that is all I'm
interesting.
prepared to say for now.
No, keep us in anticipation, Linda. So one is a present and one is a lump of coal, but we'll find out which later. And what else? Well, of course, the box office top 10, the latest movie news, and as we say, films that deliver thrills, politics, and will leave you so chilled you'll be unable to walk. So if you're ready, let's head on into another episode of Meet Me in the Foyer.
Meet me in the foyer.
And we begin, as we like to, with the box office top 10, the top 10 as we record. And at number 10, Nuremberg, in its fourth week on the charts, now at £3 million. That's James Vanderbilt's Nuremberg film, which is getting rave reviews for Russell Crowe's performance, which is, well, nice to see him return to form
It's
after.
one of the good things about the movie. I'm not sure I am on board with the rest of it.
Mm.
Let's just put it that way. I think, oh my God, what's his name?
Rami Malek?
Yeah. I think Rami Malek is completely miscast in here, and I've never been a great fan of his delivery anyway. And I'm also not 100% sure about the tone of it and the screenplay. However, as you say, Russell Crowe is excellent in this.
All the more intriguing with those comments. I look forward to. I think it feels like I'll be watching that slumped on the sofa come post Christmas pre-New Year week. I think
It is a spy movie. It is a movie that was funded by Sky. So I should think it will end up on Sky TV, not too not in a near future, and I'd say about a couple of months or so.
excellent. So at number 9, It Was Just an Accident. First
Oh,
week on the chart. That's a
great
Persian
movie.
thriller.
Yeah, Iranian director by Jafar Panahi. Really, really good. Actually, this won the Palme d'Or
Wow. Okay.
at Cannes this year. Really good movie. Very sort of subtly political. Yeah, I might actually talk about it next week in our sort of round off. But yeah, great movie.
Cool. At 8, Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair. Tarantino's disappointing brace edited into one overly long anticlimax, which has made £233,000 in it for a 1 week on release so far. But I don't have the endurance.
Which
for
is
that.
not bad for a 4-hour movie, isn't it?
Mm.
As I say, whatever you think of him, he's made some really good movies and he has a huge following. And I really like loads of his movies. I just don't like him as a person. I think we'll just say that because of his latest behavior and sort of attacks on other filmmakers and other actors who are way more talented than him. Let's
He
just say.
does seem to have elected himself chief counsel and critic of all filmmaking in recent years, doesn't he?
It's very unpleasant. And there's no need for unpleasantness, and especially when you are 100% wrong,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sort of, I consider Paul Dano personally as one of the greatest actors of his generation, and I want to see him in more things. He's also a fantastic filmmaker, like director. And out of all of the people in the world, you decide to sort of say, I mean, literally saying that Paul Dano is the worst actor in SAG is mental to me.
Absolutely.
It's fucking insane.
I've never seen Paul Dano do anything less than brilliant. So
yeah, same.
Absolutely. Above that, then at number 7 is Durandbar, a Indian Hindi language spy action thriller. At number 6, Now You See Me, Now You Don't, which we still see in the top 10 in its 4th week, 6.1 million. And you can hear Linda's review on a previous episode of Meet Me in the Foyer.
Yeah, as I said, not really surprised that it's taking money, but at the same time, like, come on.
Yes, because
there are better movies out there to be watching. But hey,
absolutely. I mean, it's co-release buddy Running Man has dropped out of the top 10 completely now. So yeah, shocking. Shocking. At number 5. Reviewed by Linda on last week's show, it's Eternity, which has made 388,000. That's David Frenay's romantic comedy fantasy starring Miles Teller, Elizabeth Olsen, and Callum Turner.
That's quite disappointing, really. I'd say that is not a good box office for the first week for a movie that has had quite a bit of publicity out there, and yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah, I mean, again, I said this the other week, and it's not based on any expertise at all, but I just feel like now's not a great time to be releasing films. You know, I don't know that people have the spare cash or time to be going to the cinema very much. But, you know, that's just a pop theory of mine. So, above that, really disappointingly, because I can't stand these, Andrew Ryu's 2025 Christmas concert. That's shocking.
Not a film.
No, it's like he's like the Michael Bolton of violin playing, just absolutely awful. Anyway, at 3, John M. Chu's Wicked for Good, starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo.
I liked this. I liked it a lot.
And you're not alone, because it's made £37 million, which is
good.
Absolutely whopping.
I liked it, and I've heard some like shocking reviews of it, so which I completely disagree with. I think you either get Wicked or you don't get it, and I feel like a ton of sort of established critics really don't get it. Actually, funnily enough, the only critics that really gave it a good like who found it who had anything to say positive about it are critics who also review for theatre. I mean, I'm not a theatre reviewer, but I am a big fan of the play, of the musical. So
interesting. That's interesting. At number 2, it's a new entry. It's Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which has taken 3.2 million in its opening week, which is impressive. But I saw the Five Nights at Freddy 1 and I wasn't terribly impressed by it, and I had no wish to see the second one, and I wasn't reviewing it, so I'm very sorry. I have to not be bringing you a review of Five Nights at Freddy 2, but I had quite a stuck up week, so yeah, I didn't end up watching it, but yeah, I'm sure it's very good. Well, I think I'm being very kind there. But I mean, I saw the trailer and it does look impressive, but yeah, not my bag anyway, so who am I to comment? Which means at number 1, it's Zootropolis 2 in its second week. Has risen to the top of the charts. It's taken £11.7 million. It's the 6th highest grossing film in the UK this year already, and the 4th highest grossing film globally in just 2 weeks.
Hudson Wild in pursuit of suspect. Back off, rookies! We got him. Rolling spikes!
Woody, Judy! Sorry, could you show me that clip again? Wasn't wearing my glasses.
Fail at this case, and I will split you up.
No snake has set foot in Zootopia in forever.
There's a snake!
Stop in the name of the law! We're gonna crack this case and prove we're the greatest partners of all time! Yeah!
If you want to talk to a reptile, I am your gal. When Zootopia was founded, this whole neighborhood got cut off from the rest of the town. It's the only place you can get away with wearing a shirt and no pants. Hey, Johnny. Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
So warm.
Whoops. No.
Keep it.
If whatever you're tangled up in has to do with snakes, it's dangerous.
I want the fox and rabbit gone.
Come on.
Oh.
Ow! Stop pulling my ears. Stop pulling my ears. Cannonball! Come back.
Snakes aren't the bad guys. This is our chance to set things right.
No one will believe us.
They're helping the snake.
We took an oath to make the world a better place, and an innocent snake needs our help.
Here we go. Judy!
Big!
We need out of here. Hey, Flash, 100-yard dash. We need to get across town.
No problem.
Disney Zootopia 2. In theaters November 26th. Tickets available now.
In a year where we haven't had a great deal of good animations, it has been a really bad year for animations. Although I really liked Elio, I have to say, choosing a top 10, I'd say Elio for me was the best one, even though it hasn't done a great deal at the box office. I still think that is better than everything else. I did like K-pop Demon Hunter.
Okay.
I think that is, and it's been so popular. You can watch it on Netflix, I think. That's been so popular, and like everyone is seeing it, even people who don't have kids. So that should tell you more. But so yeah, Zootropolis to Zootopia 2 is doing well, and it's okay. It's not as good as the first one, but it's okay. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, I have to say. Just had a quick Google there, maybe Dogman is my favourite animation of the year so far.
Oh, Dogman, yeah.
But I haven't seen Zootropolis yet, so I can't give a proper opinion. But yeah, that probably would be it, actually. Yeah. Yes, apologies if you noticed an edit there. I was just running to the doorbell because Christmas was being delivered, and
Christmas was being delivered. The whole of Christmas.
Yeah. Vital presents and part of my outfit for the works Christmas dinner on Monday, so I couldn't let the postman leave. But apologies to everyone.
No. No worries. Okay, go on.
So yes, that's the box office top 10 this week.
Meet me in the foyer.
Right, it's time for a review. Would you like to do Ella McCay first, Linda?
Yes, I will go for Ella McCay first because I have a lot to say about this.
Brilliant. Well, so Ella McCay is a new film from the director of Terms of Endearment, Broadcast News and As Good As It Gets. That's JamesLBrooks, his first film in 15 years, a political comedy. Is it a refreshing return to a time before populist divisionism, or has Mr. Brooks missed the boat?
Hi, I'm the narrator. Some people get born into stable, loving families. Then there's the rest of us.
Wait! I don't want to act as though you were just retiring today, when really you're being forced to leave because of multiple relationships with women who work there.
That is one legitimate point of view.
What do you mean? Is there another?
I'll never forgive you. I love you. Call me for anything.
This holiday season, it's a tale of the ties that bind us.
Try not to judge my husband right away.
I'll try.
You nuts, lady!
The people we can count on.
Would you like to hear about my favorite community health program?
God, no.
And the ones we can't.
I'd like to acknowledge past actions for which I am ashamed. This is great we're doing this.
And the surprises.
I'm resigning immediately. You're governor. Congratulations. You really couldn't have gotten this any other way.
Well, that bring it all to a boil.
Any last minute advice?
Don't take Ambien more than 3 nights in a row.
Lord help me, I think I can do it. I can make people's lives better.
Are you thinking about your mom?
Yeah, me too.
Who's that woman?
Stop thinking the worst all the time. You're not always right.
Your mother was a lovely woman, but thank the Lord you have your father to lean on.
Thank you for stopping by and possibly meaning well.
Academy Award-winning writer, director James L. Brooks brings you all the comedy.
What happened to that great girl?
Wanna come inside?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yep.
All the crises.
If I don't have a title, I'm your what?
Husband?
That's a hard thing to put on a parking space.
And all the heart that makes a family.
It's complicated when you come from our background. I know with someone from a normal family, isn't it, Case?
Personally, I've decided to stop trying to be normal and pick something easier.
I love the job.
Unemployment or impotence, it's a tough choice.
Hey, help her or go to hell.
Nice input.
How are you, Estelle?
You kidding? I think I'm peaking.
Linda.
I wish I had something more positive to say about this. I said it, I mean, from the offset, I'm going to tell, but cards on the table. I am a huge fan of James L. Brooks. He brought us The Simpsons, Terms of Endearment, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's the movie, whenever I'm asked what movie makes you cry, it's always Terms of Endearment. And Deborah Winger, Shirley MacLaine, and the rest, you know. And I've always loved the way he really tells story about humanity. He tells story about the human. He's like a classic drama, sort of comedy drama filmmaker. I also, as I said, love The Simpsons. I think As Good as It Gets is one of his best movies ever. However, I mean, this on paper, this should be a great movie. However, you've got to understand this man is 84 years old. So the fact that he's still making movies is already something extraordinary. On paper, this has a great cast. So you get Emma Mackay, confusingly, playing Ella McCay. You have Jamie Lee Curtis, Woody Harrelson, Rebecca Hall in a blink and you miss it role. She plays Ella's mum, who basically dies very early on in the movie. You also have Jack Lowden, who I absolutely adore, you know, from Slow Horses. So, and Kumail Nanjiani, Ayo Edeberry is so criminally underused. We see her in literally two scenes. It feels as though James L. Brooks has seen all these people that he really desperately wanted to work with, however, didn't really know what kind of movie he wanted to give us. And this is a very, very bizarre setup. So it's set in an unnamed city in 2008, sort of at and Obama is just about to take up, just about to sort of become a president. And Emma Mackay, she's a lieutenant governor of her city. And she is, when suddenly her mentor, the governor, Bill, who is played by Albert Brooks, is been asked to join Obama's administration as in the cabinet. So she has 14 months to become, and she becomes governor overnight. She's an idealist, while Bill spends his time raising money for his campaigns to be re-elected. She's not interested in any of that. What she wants to do is put new rules in place to change the lives of people around her. I mean, all in all, a really good and sort of a pure kind of way of seeing things. She is a politician who is in politics for the right reasons. However, things very quickly start to crumble around her. She is estranged from her dad, whom she blames for the death of her mother a few years earlier, because her mum forgave him his many sort of affairs throughout their lives. And Ella hasn't spoken to him for 13 years. her brother, who is troubled and suffers from agoraphobia, is played by Spike Fern, a great actor. However, again, him and the rest of the cast just have no clue what kind of film they're in. And it's not really their fault because the tone is really weird. It keeps shifting from serious, from comedy, and I feel like Brooks doesn't really know what kind of movie he's making, and he doesn't really. I think it's very old-fashioned, but then again, I like old-fashioned. I mean, if you were remaking Terms of Endearment, that's like this kind of sweeping family saga thing, and really heartbreaking denouement at the end. I like those kind of movies because they are the kind of movies I grew up on. However, it just doesn't have, and I feel like doesn't matter how good of an actor you are, if the material you're working with is flimsy or flimsily written or not sure of itself, it's really, really, really hard to get anything out of these actors. You have the whole thing being narrated by Julie Kavner, who's the voice of Marge Simpson, who is really wonderful in this, and she plays the secretary of Ella's secretary. And every time she was on, I was like quite happy to see her. I must say, it's actually quite weird that this is coming out this time of the year, and I think it's being buried quite rightly. This is made by. This is a Disney movie, and I think the reason why this is being released now, or the reason why they might have agreed to releasing this movie, I think this costs a lot of money. I can tell. I've not looked at the budget, but I feel like this was not a cheap movie to make. However, we are getting the Simpsons movie, and I think I feel like some kind of deal was done here. Let me release my film, and you can have the Simpsons movie. That's how I feel, because he is the creator of the Simpsons. He gets to say what is done with the AP. I feel like it's so weird that this is coming out now, because genuinely this is one of the worst films of the year. I was kind enough to give it 2 stars, but really in my heart I felt like it was a 1-star movie. I genuinely, there is a good story here to be told, but it's so bizarrely told that none of them ring real. Like, none of the characters feel real in any way, shape or form. People have conversations that the dialogue is clunky. The overacting is just out of this world, and this is because of bad direction, not because of the actors themselves. If you are given a role or given a sort of a dialogue to tell, and you don't understand where it's coming from, it's very easy to find yourself very confused about what the director wants from you. And I just feel very sorry for everyone involved. I feel like there is, as I said, there is a good story to be told about this. There is also a really fantastic score by Hans Zimmer, of all people. I mean, he must have cost an arm and a leg already. Yeah. So, and the cinematography by Robert Elswit, which is, we all know he's a fantastic cinematographer. He's him and Zimmer both award-winning and both know their work inside out. So give them any movie and they can make it look good. It physically does look good, tonally and narratively. This is a mess. It's an absolute huge mess. And I thought it's an hour and 55 minutes. It felt like a lifetime. I just could not wait for it to end. It just felt never ending. Confused about its morality as well. I don't get why this film was made. Genuinely do not get why this film was made. I've been trying to be charitable, but at the same time, there are really fabulous screenplays out there who are on the blacklist, which is the famous Hollywood blacklist, where fantastic screenplays go to die or wait in purgatory for ages for someone to pick them up. I mean, for example, the film that I'm reviewing later has been on a Hollywood blacklist and finally got picked up. But this just feels like a huge waste of everyone's time, and go watch something else. Genuinely, you don't need to watch this.
Well, that's a surprise and a shame, I must say. But oh, well, no, you can only speak your truth, Linda, and you have. And I wonder if Disney had considered making it another tax write-off, as we've seen with other films recently.
Maybe.
But
Yeah.
you're now, I know this example is a film that people absolutely eulogized at the time, and still I think is very respected. But your review reminded me of my feelings about Wag the Dog, another political
Oh,
sort of
yeah.
comedy thing, because I thought that was tonally all over the place and it didn't work for me at all.
I liked Wag the Dog because I believed in the characters. I just don't believe in any of these characters. Everything is cranked up to like a million, and there's nothing subtle about any of them. It's all about shouting and screaming and like long dialogues and long sort of interchange, and people sort of shouting over each other, and people like starting a conversation and it going just weird.
Yeah.
Like it's just weird. Yeah.
I'm starting to feel bad or worried as well, because I really like Jack Lowden. He's one of my favorite actors, and really since Dunkirk, other than Fighting with My Family, his films have been really disappointing.
Yeah, Slow Horses as well. He was in Slow Horses. He's quite good in Slow
Yeah.
Horses. And
Oh, I think that's
you know,
fantastic, and I think he's brilliant.
we
But
need to see him in a good movie. I
exactly,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, he's either going to get the James Bond role, which I think would be perfect for him, or he's going to have to be choosing his roles. But I mean, he is a producer, to be fair.
Yes.
He's also like someone who makes his own movies. So I feel like maybe even if he doesn't, I mean, he's still in the film industry regardless, but I'd like to see him in something better.
Yeah, absolutely. Because of course we've already seen him this year in Tornado,
Yeah.
which wasn't terrible, but wasn't great.
Yeah.
But, well, that's turn up for the books, as they say, or turn up for the Brooks, maybe I should say.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much. But yeah, that's Linda's review for us of James L. Brooks's new film, Ella McCay.
Meet me in the foyer.
So why don't we head on to the news and see if there's anything good for us there? Well, maybe not, because lucky us, we're getting a new Paranormal Activity film this time with Wicked director James Wan producing. No director or release date attached yet.
James Wan is not the Wicked director.
No, he's not, is he? God damn it, my notes are terrible.
It's,
okay, so
yeah, it's
with-
John M. Chu who does Wicked.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
Okay,
James Wan is really well known for really good horrors. He's like, he's one of the people who have made some of the best sort of, oh God, what's it called? There's a company that does loads of really popular horrors, and James Wan was part of them.
Oh, okay. So I've just got Wicked on the brain. So, yeah, pretend you didn't hear that. But new Paranormal Activity film coming with that guy James Wan attached, who's not got anything to do with Wicked, and who thought he did? Not me. But if that news filled your heart with sadness, well, we've more bad news for you, as a new Men in Black film is in the works.
Oh dear.
Bad Boys for Life writer Chris Bremner and Will Smith possibly returning to his starring role. Well, I mean, let's be fair. Men in Black 1 was fabulous. Men in Black 2, I think, was good. I can't really remember. And then Men in Black 3, absolutely one of the worst films ever made. So
I know. Very sad.
But let's clean our palates with a trailer for new British prison drama Waste Man from debut director Cal McMahon, due for release, thanks to good behaviour, in February of 2026.
You are this close to getting out of here.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna see my boy.
Of course, this is all dependent on continued good behavior.
Hey! You're gonna get me into trouble, man. Good. I don't want to get involved in all this.
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
Fed got us rotting on the wing. Devil wear Prada and I got it on my
You got too much to lose.
We have...
That has a really fabulous performance by David Johnson, who, you know how much I love David Johnson. You know, he's just a great actor. And yeah, I am always happy to see him in everything and anything. And he deserves... I mean, we last saw him in the Long Walk.
Yes.
Incredible performance in Long Walk.
I fear for him that he's so good in everything that it will almost go unsaid that he's so brilliant, and people will just start taking him for granted because he's so amazing.
Yeah, I hope not. He's so good, and he was really good in Alien, and yeah, fab actor.
Yeah, I mean that was performance of the year for me, his performance in Alien, but that's my bias. We have a release date for the Peaky Blinders movie, The Immortal Man, which is confirmed for March of 2026. The original Star Wars trilogy will be returning to cinemas in their original form in February of 2027 to celebrate A New Hope's 50th anniversary. So that's in the pre-meddled with format before George got his hands back on the negatives and started putting in CGI all over the place. In more re-release news, Lord of the Rings is also set for a re-release, and that's in January of 2026, returning to cinemas to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Fellowship of the Rings, which is truly terrifying that it's been 25 years since that came out.
Insane, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah.
How can it be? How could it be?
Yeah. That could be we could do a special one on those movies, you know.
That would be amazing.
A new series of it.
Yeah. I love that first film, especially. We have a trailer for new A24 movie, The Drama, starring Robert Pattinson and Zendaya, who are also set to appear together in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey and Denis Villeneuve's Dune 3. There'll be drama in your local multiplex from April of 2026.
Am I sensing some nerves? A little camera shy? Let's do a little warm-up so we're feeling revved up and comfortable for your wedding day. Yeah? All right, let's try it. Let's do a little warm-up. Up on our feet. All right, Charlie, move a little closer to your bride-to-be. There we go. What's your favorite thing about Emma?
She's beautiful, funny.
This is very serious.
And she has the best laugh.
Okay, good. Emma.
I love that he's caring, understanding, and open-minded.
That's good. Okay, so hold on to those thoughts. Don't forget to smile. Okay. Just smile naturally. Yeah, Charlie, just a completely natural smile. Just like how you would smile in life. Remember, you know each other really well.
To Emma and Charlie.
What the fuck was that?
Just some drama.
We found love that we're gonna have forever. Okay, I think that we'll get there on the day.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
28 years later, 3 has been confirmed before The Bone Temple has even hit cinemas.
I have seen The Bone Temple.
Ooh.
I was very lucky to be one of the first people in the whole world to watch it on Tuesday night.
Very nice.
I can only tell you whether I liked it or not, but I can't really... Actually, no. Am I allowed? I mean, it's embargoed, but like the sort of social embargo is lifted. So I think me being a film critic, I probably shouldn't say, but...
For all those just listening in audio, you're going to have to go and watch the video to find out what clue Linda gave us there. And Cillian Murphy is in talks to return for that third sequel. Yeah, third sequel. Yeah, and of course, the big news of the week was the acquisition of Warner Bros. By Netflix in a deal worth over 82 billion.
Maybe not.
Or maybe not, because it's currently being discussed in the White House and rivaled by another bid by Paramount. So,
yeah,
where's it going to go?
I feel like, if Paramount actually gets their hands on it, at least they will keep the films in cinema. What I heard, the last thing from one of the bosses of Netflix, he says he feels that films should be watched at home on a sofa and not in cinema, which is utterly disgusting for someone to be saying. So as much as I'm not a massive fan of Paramount's way of doing things and their sort of, taking over all these film companies and these TV stations, I also think Paramount genuinely believes in keeping films in a cinema. So who knows? I would rather Netflix not have Warner Brothers personally, because if you think all the APs are like IPs on there, and all the really fantastic stuff they have, and that's all going to end up in cinemas for in 25 cinemas per for a couple of weeks, instead of being 100 days in a cinema and then move into streaming. I just think it's disgusting the way they've been treating films, and I have nothing more to say. I'm not a fan of Netflix. I don't even watch it.
No.
I'm absolutely gutted. Films are to be seen in a theater, and perhaps afterwards on streaming or on TV, but keep films in theaters. And it's not a silly thing to be demanding, really.
No, absolutely not. No, I absolutely agree. That's what films were made for, and that's what cinemas were made for. Because of course when Netflix originally lobbied this bid, they said, oh no, we're going to keep films in cinemas, and of course that didn't ring true at all. And I think it really sort of brought home to me how out of touch I am with the power of Netflix and the others, because for a studio the size of Warner Brothers, with all of, as you say, the IPs they have, like DC, for example, you've got all of that, and
Bloomhouse, and like
HBO.
All the horrors, all the really like the cult stuff that they've got.
Yeah,
it's to see it go like this, it's just making me feel sick, quite frankly.
I mean, it's an example of the power of Netflix, and also, as we know, being film fans, the horrific mismanagement of Warner Brothers over the last 30, 40 years, because they've always been staggering from massive success to massive drama and failure to massive success, and just always teetering. I just remember it constantly throughout my youth. So no, sad times. Hopefully, as you say, Paramount would be the best home for them.
I'm not don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of the way Paramount have been acting lately, and also them sort of getting into bed with the Trump administration and sort of pushing their weight around, and trying to ban people. And I'm not a huge fan of that. However, given a choice between them and Netflix, who genuinely could not give two shits about keeping films in cinema, I would rather Paramount personally.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they've been working with Tom Cruise on loads of stuff as well, Paramount, and most of their success this year and last year came from keeping films in a cinema, and they're making money, and the reason why they are making money is because of that. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Indeed, let's see what happens in the new year. A slightly down note for the end of the news, but let's raise our spirits with another review from Linda.
Meet me in the foyer.
And now, waiting in the corner of the foyer is a shady figure, a familiar one though, offering us a review of a psychological thriller from Alex Russell. We know her as Linda, but you may call her a lurker.
Thanks a lot.
So when he find you at a meet and greet or something?
No. He came into the store I work at. You make music?
Yeah, sometimes, bro. You should come to the show tonight.
Is this how you envisioned it?
This is the crib.
You should try to make yourself useful.
Love you.
If you want to stick around.
You got a camera. You know how to press record.
What the? You're like my hero, man. You're always on Oliver's Instagram. Ollie, say hi.
Calling this man Ollie already? You sound like one of his bitches. You're like my best friend. I mean that.
Yo, get back! Bro!
It's a detail shot.
Walk back, walk back. Fine boy, man.
Ollie.
I guess that means you're like my best friend.
You gotta head out.
What?
Best friend.
Yeah, I think you should just take a break.
Best friend.
What's the difference between love and obsession?
You changed my life. But you took that from me. And I can't let that happen again.
What's the difference between love and obsession?
I know what you're doing.
Where is he? 3, 2, 1! Wait, can you pause that?
Please don't take it away.
Everyone around you. We all want the same thing.
What are you doing? Go!
I just want it more.
So this is a debut feature from Alex Russell. As I said earlier in the show, this was one of those screenplays that has been in the Hollywood blacklist that we know. Hollywood blacklist. This is a list of screenplays that have a lot of potential, but that nobody has been prepared to put money together to develop it. However, with this is being released in the UK by Universal. I don't know who's releasing it elsewhere in the world, but yeah, this is released in the UK by Universal. It's getting the kind of a small release. It's not a huge release, but it's getting a small release. But it's also a film that is made on a shoestring, and it has that kind of like lo-fi DIY quality, and I think it really works for that reason. It works because it kind of espouses the theme it is trying to broach here, and it's about art and how it's about this guy who let's tell you the story of it. So it centers around Matthew. He's a 20-something retail worker. He's played by Theodore Pellerin. He's a 20-something retail worker who quietly becomes obsessed with trying to enter the orbit of a pop star, Oliver. This is rising pop star, someone who's painfully cool. He's someone who's so cool, doesn't really care about trying to make it. It just happens for him. And he's played by Saltburn star Archie Medekwe, British actor, really fantastic. He's been really good in loads of stuff. So Matthew, as I say, inserts himself into Oliver's world by pretending not to know who he is. But he's more or less like a social climber. He's someone who is determined to make it, regardless of anything, and he's prepared to do anything. He doesn't become obsessed with him in any way. He wants to be in his entourage because that represents being able to become what he wants to become, which is a film director. So he quickly becomes sort of starts hanging out with him and his friends who are not very nice to him and not very nice to Matthew to start with, but then they get used to the kind of person he is and eventually accept him, and he makes himself indispensable. He soon becomes his personal sort of cameraman, helping him to film these like music videos that are very unfussy, very kind of handheld, and the film itself feels like that as well, which is quite interesting. And slowly we start to, I mean, we kind of feel, we start to feel at the beginning that he might be very insecure about who he is, but then slowly you realize that there is something more sinister about him. This is someone who wants something so badly that he will go as far as possible and he will do anything to get it. There are a couple of sort of narrative changes in it. It was just like, it starts by being very believable and like very far from the, sort of the whole melodrama, but there are twists and turns within it which work because they're done so naturally, and they're done also with knowledge of that kind of scene. And I think it works definitely, and I think the performances are fabulous. I think Archimedico is a really, really good actor, and both of them actually are fabulous in here. I really liked it. I thought it was so well done, and it's really nice to see something that is the acting is very sort of sedate and like very sure of itself without the flourishes. And I felt that Alex Russell's direction is also in the same vein, and that's all you need when you have a film that has a really good story and a really good sort of human story, and that like pulls you in. You don't really need all of that kind of flowery stuff around it. And also, as I say, this was made on a shoestring, and it's really important that if you're making stuff on a shoestring, it's really important to have a really good story, because where you are losing on the quality of the technicality, you are gaining in the way the movie interacts with its audience. I think this is fabulous, and I think Alex Russell is going far. And again, if he sticks to what he does best, which is telling good stories about interesting people, then he will go far.
Wonderful. So this is the present rather than the lump of coal under the Christmas tree for us. Not obviously not a director I know. It's a debut director, as you say, and a largely unknown cast to me at least. Maybe not to an expert like yourself. I mean, thumbs up from me for it being a film that's only 140 minutes long. So that's always a praiseworthy comment.
Yes, honestly, yeah. I mean, there was another movie that came out this week called Eleanor the Great. I almost reviewed that. That is also a 93-minute movie, or something like that, which is fabulous. I might review that next week because let's see what I decide to review next week. But actually no, probably next week I might review Marty Supreme.
Marvelous. Yes, definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was it says here that it's distributed by Focus Features. I don't know if that's what you
is it Focus Features?
Internationally it is.
Focus Features internationally. It's definitely Universal in the UK. It's NBC Universal in the UK.
Okay, and Mubi in America. Yeah. Wonderful. So that sounds like a recommendation to me to head to cinemas and see.
But best film of the week by a mile. There's also a remake of a horror movie from the 80s called Silent Night.
Yes,
Silent Night. Oh my God, what's it called?
Silent Night, Deadly Night, was it?
No, hang on. I reviewed it. Hang on. Silent Night, Deadly Night. Yeah. So I'm not going to review it right now, but there is also that, and that is also a really good movie. It's actually better than the original, and there was another. So this is a movie that has been remade 3 times or remade twice. So. There was the original in the 80s, remake in 2012, and then this latest remake. I feel that this is actually a better movie than all of the others. It's really well made. It's very gory and very bloody. But if you're going to see a movie, either go and see Silent Night, Deadly Night, or go and see Lurker. Ignore all the rest of the new releases.
And speaking of 80s horror, it's time for Jawa's classic movie moment.
Meet me in the foyer.
Yep, it's that time again, and this week I blow Linda's mind and review an adaptation of a book by a writer you may know. He's called Mr. Stephen King.
Oh, fab.
It's a book published in 1987 and was made into a film 3 years later, so it's technically a 90s horror, by Rob Reiner, now celebrating its 35th anniversary. A film that will hopefully bring you joy despite the title, as this week I'll be taking a drive on dangerous roads into the country to take a look at Misery.
Wow, exciting.
Yes, unusually for me, it's a psychological horror, the 1990 film Misery, directed, as I say, by Rob Reiner from a screenplay by William Goldman. Based, as I said, on Stephen King's 1987 novel, it stars James Caan as famed novelist Paul Sheldon, who's held captive by Annie Wilkes, played by Kathy Bates, an obsessive fan.
Rob Reiner and Stephen King want to be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas and a safe and sane holiday season. But for novelist Paul Sheldon, it won't be very merry at all. He's spending Christmas in bed.
There is nothing to worry about. You're gonna be just fine. I'm your #1 fan.
I think one of my clients, Paul Sheldon, might be in some kind of trouble.
You mean Paul Sheldon, the writer?
This year,
My name is Annie Wilkes.
One fan.
he won't be going to any parties.
Oh, Paul, I've read everything of yours. The Misery novels. I love them so.
He won't be seeing any friends.
They said he checked out last Tuesday. Isn't that a little strange?
Paul, say hello to Misery.
Misery.
Yes, I told you I was your #1 fan.
He won't be spending time with his family.
Paul, forgive me for prattling away and making you feel all oogie.
He'll have only one person to help him through the holidays.
Catch this. Mwah!
Annie Wilkes.
What a poet you are.
The presumption must now be that Paul Sheldon is dead.
She loves everything he ever wrote,
I'd love to stay here and chat, but I'm right at the end, and I gotta find out what happens.
except this.
You dirty bird. How could you? Misery Chastain cannot be dead. You murdered us!
Whatever you're thinking about doing, please don't do it.
It's for the best.
Misery.
God, I love you.
So, yeah, famed novelist Paul Sheldon writes Victorian romance novels featuring a character named Misery, or Misery Chastain to give her a full name. Though the books are profitable, Paul despises the series and wishes to focus on writing more serious literature. He has just left the hotel in Silver Creek, Colorado, where he completed a manuscript he hopes will launch his post-Misery career. En route to New York City, he's caught in a blizzard and crashes his car over an embankment. Annie Wilkes finds him and brings him to her remote home. And I'll leave the plot there. So, as I say, it stars James Caan as Paul Sheldon, Kathy Bates as Annie Wilkes, Frances Sternhagen as Deputy Virginia, Richard Farnsworth as Sheriff Buster, Lauren Bacall as Marcia Sindel, Graham Jarvis as Libby, and Jerry Potter as Pete. J.T. Walsh makes an uncredited cameo as State Patrol Colonel Sherman Douglas, I should say, and director Rob Reiner also makes an uncredited appearance as a helicopter pilot. And I didn't spot him at all. I'll have to go back and watch it again. Producer Andrew Scheinman read Stephen King's novel Misery on an airplane and recommended it to his director partner at Castle Rock Entertainment, Rob Reiner. And then Rob Reiner invited William Goldman to write the film's screenplay. So, yeah, Paul Sheldon was originally offered to William Hurt, twice apparently, and Kevin Kline, Michael Douglas, Harrison Ford, Dustin Hoffman, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Richard Dreyfuss, Gene Hackman, and Robert Redford, but they all turned it down. So they really went through the list of 80s, 90s leading men before they eventually reached James Caan, but not before offering it to two more actors, because they offered it to Warren Beatty, who was interested, but he wanted to make the lead character less passive. And then he dropped out to make Dick Tracy instead. Big mistake. And Jack Nicholson was offered the role, but passed because he was not sure he wanted to do another movie based on one of Stephen King's novels after he'd just made Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. So eventually, someone suggested James Caan, who agreed to play the part, and he said the role's unlike any of the others he had played, and he was a totally reactionary character. And I have to admit, I can't recall a role like this in James Caan's filmography. He's normally a very sort of aggressive, forward-footed, leading man, and here he's a much more sort of subtle, quiet, intellectual character. And as he says, he's passive and he's reactive, and he really surprises me. He really works in the role. He's brilliant. Equally with the actress, I mean, this is a familiar story. You don't immediately get the right person for the role, but they also offered the leading female role to Angelica Houston and Bette Midler. Both turned it down. Midler would later say she deeply regretted the decision, quite rightly. Although I can't really see Bette Midler in the role myself, but that's me. It was Goldman, the writer, who suggested Wilkes should be played by Kathy Bates, who at the time was a reasonably unknown actress. She was a stage actress. And also, the unknown at the time, Billy Bob Thornton, auditioned for the role of Sheriff Buster's deputy, but the part was cut from the film anyway, so no luck there. It's set in Silver Creek, Colorado, and was filmed in Silver Creek, Colorado. Gorgeous country vistas and wonderful sort of snowy landscape shots. It's got a score composed by Mark Shaman, and it features on the soundtrack 3 songs by Liberace, which is Annie Wilkes' favourite musician. And interestingly, right at the start, it's got the sort of Motown song Shotgun by Junior Walker and the All-Stars, which really sort of, I think, sucks you in to a sort of it misleads you, I should say, before the drama occurs. It made 10 million on its opening weekend and finished second at the box office behind Home Alone, another classic, which we might be talking a bit more about next week. And it finished with 61 million domestically at the box office. It's got a 91% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and was at the time considered one of the best Stephen King adaptations to date. Stephen King himself said that Misery is one of his top 10 favourite film adaptations, and he said, in the early 80s, my wife and I went to London on a combined business pleasure trip. I fell asleep on the plane and had a dream about a popular writer, who may or may not have been me, but it sure God wasn't James Caan. So, I mean, that's classic King, really. He likes to be outspoken about the adaptations of his works. It's his right. But I think James Caan, as I said, is great in this role. He really works. But on the other hand, King was really impressed with Kathy Bates, and he actually wrote 2 more roles for her on the basis of her performance in this film. The title role in his novel, Dolores Claiborne, was written with Bates in mind, and then she would go on to star in the film adaptation. And I recommend that film as well. I really enjoyed that film.
Love that movie. Absolutely love the movie. There's an eclipse scene in it, which is just incredible.
Yes. Yes, yes. That's from 1995, Dolores
Mm.
Claiborne, the film, I should say. And he wrote a TV miniseries called The Stand. And the originally in the book, it features a male character called Ray Flowers, but upon hearing that Kathy Bates would be involved in the miniseries, he rewrote the part as a woman, just so that Bates could play the part. So apparently, on one occasion at least, James Caan turned up hungover on the set, and which was giving me flashbacks to Jaws with Robert Shaw trying to do his Indianapolis speech drunk, and then them deciding it didn't work at all. And equally, all of the stuff that was shot with James Caan suffering a hangover was thrown out by Rob Reiner. But Rob Reiner was nice enough, or perhaps weak enough, depends on your opinion, to tell that Caan that there was a problem with the lab, and they had to reshoot everything. But then Caan found out what the real reason was, and he actually ended up paying for that film to be reshot. So everyone ending up friends in the end. Caan and Bates apparently clashed over their acting methods because, as I say, Bates was a stage actress and Caan very much a film actor. And he apparently didn't believe in too much rehearsal, whereas she believed in in-depth, long rehearsal time. And but apparently it made Bates so angry and frustrated that Rob Reiner told her to use it in her character. And I mean, she's so good in this; she's absolutely brilliant. Caan said that he hated having to stay in bed for 15 weeks shooting the film, and he accused Rob Reiner of playing a sadistic joke on him, knowing that he wouldn't enjoy not moving around, and and as I say, having to play this reactionary, passive character, which he found really tough. But as I say, brought out one of his best performances, or maybe actually his best performance. I mean, Rob Reiner is I think he's such a massively underrated director. You know, he doesn't get named in amongst the greats. And yes, maybe he's not, a stylist or an auteur, but you look at his filmography and it's so varied, such a wide breadth of films.
I think he's a classic director for hire as well. He's very good at working on other people's ideas, and I think not many directors are able to let go into that point. And Reiner must really be respected for that kind of the way he does stuff.
Absolutely.
Quite impressive.
That filmography of his, This Is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, A Few Good Men, and this year Spinal Tap 2. It's a remarkable filmography.
Yeah.
Yeah. Annie's dialogue in the film is hilarious because she's this really sort of childlike, unworldly, conservative, repressed woman who
Country bumpkin.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, and she replaces swear words with these bizarre words that I've never heard anywhere else. Like cockadoodie and ookie and things like that. It's very weird. But then, sort of about half an hour into the film, she starts to break or crack and then at one particular moment where she's angered by something Caan's character has written, absolutely loses the plot and starts just spouting this absolutely vile profanity all over the place. It's as I say, it's a brilliant performance from Bates. She goes from 0 to 100 fantastically. We do find out some backstory about her, which is quite interesting. Her husband left her, and she's been alone all this time. She found solace in the Misery books, which is what leads her to tip over the edge when she reads Caan's latest that she's just bought from the store. And so she does then break, and it turns into a horror story at that point. Yet the next day, after that horrific night before, which I won't spoil, she sort of changes back again and she becomes a sort of evangelical, radical Christian character, and she believes she's doing God's work by saving Caan's character from himself. And she then performs some absolutely bizarre acts of vandalism and terrorism on him. It's got some really creepy tension in it. It's got some anxiety-inducing moments when you get. It's a bit like a sort of like a caper movie where someone's trying to break into a safe and a security guard's walking down the corridor, and you get moments like that where Caan is trying to break out of the house and her car's coming down the driveway, and you're sweating just as much as James Caan is. So yeah, it has elements of a sort of locked room mystery or one location thriller at times. Khan's character has suffered such awful injuries in the car crash that he's incapable of looking after himself or escape or anything. So he is trapped in this location. I mean, I'm gonna induce the wrath and ire of Linda here by saying I think King is a slightly overrated writer.
No,
Um,
not having it. La, la, la.
I don't mean he's bad. I just think he's risen to such a height of popularity that
There's a reason for that, because he's just a well of ideas and stories. He comes up with these kind of like narratives and scenarios that are like, straight away you get into them, and not everyone can do that.
No, absolutely. As I say, I'm not, being too critical of him. I just think that I've never been struck by his originality. He has lots of ideas, but I've never felt, wow, that's something I've never heard before. As I say,
He does self plagiarize.
yes.
That's true. However, it's okay to self-plagiarize because you are taking ideas from your own back catalogue rather than copying other people. I still think he's a genius, genuinely, and I really love his writing. I love the way his writing has developed throughout the years, and I also like that he hasn't stayed stagnant, and he's very embracing of new things in life and new trends, and I think that is quite impressive. And it's someone who mixes horror with supernatural as well as with thriller. He's got it all. I understand that not everyone is like a fan of King, but like I would not have a word said against him.
But I've got a few more because I heard him this week sort of spoken about as this great visionary of the future because he wrote, say, The Running Man so long ago. But then I feel like, I feel like he's just a bit over. People are a bit too enthusiastic because, you look at, say, H.G. Wells when writing The Time Machine and things like that. He's 100 years ahead of his time, not 30 years ahead of his time.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like once you're popular, it can go wrong, but it can also snowball. And people are now often praising King for being the most adapted novelist, but it snowballs because once one person's done it and it's successful, more people will do it regardless of the quality of the work. So
yeah.
He's become his own IP in a lot of ways, hasn't he?
I mean, he is a popular mainstream novelist. He's not like a Booker Prize winning kind of guy, right? He's not writing anything that is like very intellectually sought after. He's writing stories that you can sit down and read on a beach or read on a plane or listen to on Audible when you're trying to fall asleep. And I think that is deserves just as much praise as any kind of like intellectualized writing. But that's me. I don't mean to keep jumping in. Sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. And that makes us the yin and yang, and hopefully we're still friends after this review. No, I mean that's very fair because I like stuff by Jack Higgins, and that's very similar sort of pulp novelizing. And despite all of that, this I think is probably, in my opinion, my second favorite King adaptation on
Which
film.
is your favorite?
It's got to be The Shining. It's got
Shining.
to be. Yeah,
Okay.
It might not be King's, but it's mine.
For me, The Stand. The
Oh.
Stand. Yeah, The Stand is my favorite. Will always be my favorite. I like The Shining. Obviously, it's not my favorite, but I think The Stand is just absolutely incredible. I also like Cemetery, Pet Cemetery. I think that is one of the scariest stories ever.
Interesting. I've not seen The Stand, so I'll have to check that out.
I don't know if there is like a film adaptation, but I saw the series from the late
I see.
80s, early 90s, I don't know. And I found that like so shockingly well done, beautifully adapted. And I can see why they decided to make it into a series rather than a film, because there's so much in it. It's a very big book.
Okay. Oh, I will definitely check that out.
Yeah.
So yes, this is a story that rewards the viewer with a satisfying ending. Nothing obtuse or oblique. You know, it's very clear about how this concludes, and it's, as I say, very satisfying. Parts bear similarity to The Shining, I must say, such as the rescue or failed rescue, or whatever it is. So yeah, that's Misery, Stephen King's novel adapted by Rob Reiner, starring the brilliant Kathy Bates and James Caan. So why not get a copy, sit back with a glass of Dom Perignon, and relax this Christmas. Wonderful. So, where does that leave us now? Well,
I think we're done.
That is the end of the show. Yeah, that's the end of another episode, our penultimate show of the year, perhaps. So, heavens to Betsy, that's enough of this cockadoodie show. You've had more than your fill of film for this week, you dirty birdie. So let's dig our way through the oogie mess of snow and wend or hobble our way home, where you can curl up by the fire with a glass of eggnog until we meet again for the final time this year and look back on some of the highlights from the film Foyer in 2025. Thank you, as always, Linda. Another excellent set of reviews and some excellent back and forth chat, I thought, there as well. So go carefully now, and remember, I'm your #1 fan.
Brilliant. Is that a threat?
That's right. Be careful.
Meet me in the foyer.